Good evening, everybody. Swamini Vimalananda, Shri Rajiv Vastupal, Shri P.R. Joshi, Shri Sunil, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Ahmedabad Management Association, I have great pleasure in welcoming you all to the 5th Ramanbhai Patel Memorial Lecture on facing the tests of life through right education. I'm sure Swamini is going to enlighten us a little more on this and related themes. But the purpose for which Sri Ramanbhai Patel espoused the cause of education and his family instituted this series will really be served if we listen, we understand, and we act. We've just begun the process of listening. More of listening we have to do in the lecture which follows. But I would urge you to reflect and understand also what we are being told, but not to leave it there. To act on what we have been told. It's my great pleasure once again to welcome all of you to this memorial lecture on behalf of the AMA and my own behalf, and also to extend a special welcome to Swamini. And I request Mr. P.R. Joshi to welcome her on her behalf with a bouquet of flowers. Thank you very much. I now request Sunil to please take over.
Good evening to everybody. ગુજરાતમાં જેટલા લોકો રહે એટલા બધા ગુજરાતી થઈ જાય અને ત્યારે આપણે એવી વાત કરીએ કે અમુક ક્ષેત્રો એવા છે કે જ્યાં આગળ ગુજરાતીઓ શોધવો હોય તો દીવો લઈને શોધવું પડે. ગઈકાલે જ એક ડોગરા સાહેબ આવેલા અને એ બ્રાન્ડ અમદાવાદમાં અમે એમને બોલાવેલા અને ત્યારે ખબર પડી કે ડોગરા સાહેબ તો જન્મ્યા જ અહીંયા છે, પણ સામાન્ય રીતે આપણને એવું જ થાય કે ભાઈ આર્મીમાં છે તો ગુજરાતી તો ના જ હોવો જોઈએ. સ્વામિનીના કેસમાં પણ એવું જ છે. સ્વામિની આપણા સૌની વચ્ચે છે પણ ગુજરાતી છે. Swamini Vimalananda is presently in charge of the Chinmaya Mission, Coimbatore, and is one of the director of Chinmaya International Residential School. She is also director of the Chinmaya Vision program, a holistic and value-based approach to the education. Swamini was educated in Mumbai and graduated with honors from JJ College of Architecture and with BA Arts degree. She became a brilliant disciple of Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda, and soon after joined the Chinmaya Mission Brahmachari training course. She has travelled widely and has conducted many Jnana Yagnas in English, Gujarati and Hindi, as well as camps for children, youth and adults. She co-authored the book In Indian Culture, Why Do We?, which has become an instant bestseller, and her latest book, Not to Lose, Not to Tie, Just Right, has recently been released. On behalf of everyone sitting here, may I request Swamini to deliver her lecture. Please welcome Swamini.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om and Namaskar to all of you. I'd like to know how many of you have heard me before. Just put up your hands. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, how many of you have not heard me? That's a better question to ask. Okay. Fine. I always like new audiences. Not that I don't like the old ones, but Mark Twain once said that I have never let schools and colleges to interfere with my education. Bertrand Russell, great philosopher, he says, man is born ignorant, education makes him stupid. Nani Palkhiwala often refers to college graduates as illiterate, educated people. Now, with this sort of a starting, you may assume that I am against what? Schools and colleges. I am not against schools and colleges, but I am against education which is meaningless, or I don't even want to call it education because it spoils the word education. Let us think of what is education and why do we need education. Animals train their young ones with the knowledge and skill by which they can stand on their own feet. Is it true or not? And that is called training. It is not called education. I hope you understand that. The bird or the animal trains its younger one how to catch its food and catch its prey and get its food. And that is called training. In the language of human beings, training is that which is imparted, the knowledge and skill which is imparted to the younger ones by which they can stand on their own feet, earn their bread and butter. But that is called training. 99% of the colleges and schools in our country, what do? They give knowledge and skills by which they can get a degree, by which they can get a job, by which they can, what? Earn their bread and butter. And we call them education institutions, but they are actually, what are they doing? Giving training. Surely education is more than mere training. Animals do that. Nothing great about it. And by the way, as our past president also said, the fact is, the training given also is not very efficient. Do you agree with me? Even the training that's given, I'll give you just a few examples. I used to stay in the Ahmedabad ashram for 8 years. Now the past 12 years I am in Coimbatore, but before that for 8 years I was in the Paramdham ashram opposite ISRO. Once a young boy came to me and said, Swamiji, I have just 3 more months for my exams to get over. Can I come and stay in the ashram because I won't concentrate otherwise? I want to study. I said, fine, no problem. And he was in his electrical engineer final year. So he came to me and one day as we were all sitting having satsang, the lights went off in one of the rooms of the ashram. So I knew the fuse had gone. So I said, look, go and fix up the fuse. I think it's a... So he goes there, after 5 minutes comes back and asks me, Swamiji, how do I open the fuse box? Final year? So I said, and in those days fuse boxes were a little different, you know. You pull whatever you can and the box is open. Because there's only one thing to pull, there's nothing else anyways. So I gave him a screwdriver and a wire and I said, fix it up, go. I don't know what he did, but after 5 minutes, the lights of the whole ashram went off. The interesting thing is after that. Then what happened? He stayed and he studied and he gave his exams and he got a first class, of course. And he was absorbed in some of the best, jobs in this. Now, if you see, I'm giving just few examples. One person came, we wanted an office help in our ashram in Coimbatore. It's office help, a secretary's job. We didn't want anything fancy. A computer graduate came to us. I said, look, you're too overqualified. I want someone to type my letters, to post my letters, go to the post box, do very, very simple things like that. No, I need a job, so I will do whatever you say. So then I said, okay, fine, take a letter. So he didn't know how to take dictation, which I wanted. Anyway, then he was writing longhand, which was getting me impatient. I said, I'd rather write the letter myself. Then afterwards, I thought, might as well see, the letter before it's posted. So I said, bring the cover to me. Where you put the stamp normally is where he put his address. I said, well, why did you put the address? He says, look, I know my job. I said, look, sir, my dear, you know probably how to use a computer, but you don't know how to post a letter. You write her this. I'm not making up this story, okay? I make up a lot of stories, but this is not made. I'm telling you, it's... When I did my 12th standard, and then at that time, nowadays engineering is the hot thing. At that time, to get into medical was the most difficult, and everyone who had any marks wanted to get into medicine. So this girl, and people get fantastic marks, 99.99 or something like that. It's possible to get like that, huh? So this is fantastic marks, got in the best college of medicine in Bombay, the KEM hospital, they have this college. So that was the college she went in, and the professor told me this. He's saying, he asked her this question, demonstrate Archimedes' principle. A simple thing, there's nothing difficult about it. She says that I have learned that in the 7th standard. I don't know it now. Can you imagine Archimedes' principle? And she didn't know. And she's got what? How many marks? What? I have challenged many schools and all colleges and anyone, I could still challenge them, that the paper that you give to your students for their final exams, after the final exams you have a vacation, isn't it true? After the vacation, give the same paper to the same children. What will happen? Even the students who come first may fail. Do you agree with me? What type of education is that? Where in the 7th standard you forget everything about? Then you go to the 10th standard, everything. Then you go to your graduate and everything. And we call it what? Are you with me so far? Because you have to ask, people go to sleep, that's why. They switch off whenever they want to. So therefore, the question is, what is education? Okay, even the training part is not very efficient. What is education? Education, I remember Puja Gurudev's, it's one of the best definitions that I have found about education. A young couple, when they went to Gurudev and asked, what is education? I want you to give us some formula by which we can bring our children up. And he said, don't just invest on your children, also invest in your children. Will you remember this? This is the essence of education. It's not just investment on the child, but it is investment on the child complemented with investment in the child. Investment on is required. You do need a building, you do need the computers, you do need the infrastructure, the learning aids, etc. I don't deny that. But very, very important, equally important, in fact, more important is what? Investment in the child. This is a very apt example to illustrate that. The Great Wall of China was built at a terrific expense. 100 years of effort by thousands and thousands of people. And it was built to protect what? China from invaders. A grand inauguration happened, and very soon after the inauguration of this great, one of the 7 wonders of this world, China was attacked. And everyone was shocked. We thought we were impregnable, no one would come to us, and China was attacked. And the question was, how did they come in? And the answer was so simple, they bribed the guards. So simple. So much of investment on, but nothing. Have you all understood that? And this is exactly what's happening. Nowadays, when we say good school means, what do we understand by a good school? What's our definition of a good school? Unfortunately, air-conditioned school, Rama, that's called good school. Is it true or not? Abhi aajkal ye nikla hai. Air-conditioned school. Air-conditioned school bus. Air-conditioned gym. And the world outside is not air-conditioned. Nowadays it is. It's good climate, very good climate. But otherwise, you have to teach the child how to face life. Are you with me? That is the basic thing. The whole world is not air-conditioned. And this child has to go out and face what? So infrastructure is good, it's important, but that's not everything. Now, when we talk of investment in the child, let's talk a little further. Education is meant to, the few definitions which I will go to illustrate what I'm trying to say. All of you watch cricket matches. I'm saying this because present day education is only preparing children to face exams and not to face life. Do you agree with me? Only to face exams. Is that the purpose of education? To help you to face what? Exams. Okay, all of you are aware of cricket. It's a national passion. Now, what does a batsman have to do in a cricket match? He has to protect the stumps, and in turn he is protected by a helmet. He has got gloves to protect his hands, he's got pads to protect his legs, isn't it? And in the process of protecting he must make a few runs if possible. As many runs as possible, okay, let's put it that way. Now, only the bowler can bowl the ball, right? No one else on the field can do the bowling. And the bowling can only happen when the batsman is ready. In case the batsman is not ready, then what? The bowler cannot bowl. Now he watches the bowler come. He is watching and he is all ready. And then when the bowler is, he bowls, very often, or it can happen, it does happen, that the middle stump goes off and he's clean bowled. Isn't it true? With all that preparation, still he can be clean bowled. In life, what happens? Anyone can bowl at any time, from anywhere, in any way. Is it true or not? This is life. This is life. Anyone can bowl, and you have to be so much more ready and prepared. Do you agree with me? Every one of you sitting over here at some time or the other in your life must have made a statement, I did not expect this from you. Have you or not? What happened at that time? The wicket keeper bowled, and all of a sudden, what? I didn't expect it from you. Why you didn't? Because this is life. Anything can happen at any time, anyway, anyhow. Is it true or not? So for that, how much more we need to be prepared? Are you understanding that? What is the difference between life and that school exams? In a school, the curriculum is taught and the questions are from the curriculum. Isn't it true? The tests are taken based on the curriculum taught. If the questions are based on outside the curriculum, and if you are in Kerala, you can go on a strike. Is it true or not? So, it is only that. So first the lessons are taught and then the tests are taken. Is it true or not? In life what happens? What? Quite the opposite. You are tested first, lessons learnt afterwards. Is it true or not? What is the curriculum for life? What is the curriculum for life? Is there a prescribed curriculum? That so and so at this time only shall test you under this circumstance? No. Right now you are all testing me. Is it true or not? Yes, you are. You're judging me. Okay, છેલ્લી વખતથી આ વખતે થોડાક વધારે મજા નથી. Or whatever. I mean, whatever. You will judge me. And I can't say, who are you to judge me? How dare you judge me? Why do you judge me like that? Why don't you have pity on me? After all, I've traveled the whole day. And how do you expect me to give a fantastic talk? I'm so tired. I have no way to justify. You shall judge me. I stand before you and you shall pass me or you shall fail me. And I have no choice in what grades you give me. Is it true or not? This is life. And what happens? Because we are used to a system like this, where you give the curriculum, where you give everything, and then you give a test, and then you come out, and then what happens? All your life, everyone keeps saying, I have never faced this before. I have never known like that. Oh, yeah, પહેલી વાર લગન કર્યા તો પહેલી જ વાર કરે ને બીજી વાર ક્યાંથી કરવાના છે? મને તો ખબર જ નહોતી આવું હોય. Why didn't you know? Well, it's your duty to have known. આવું થાય? આવા પણ હોય? Of course એવું હોય. Why not? Don't we all say all these things? I never knew it will be like that. Why is it like that? What are you doing? There's no way that you can have such excuses. It's very immature. I hope you all understand that. Yes or no? Because you are in life. You have to learn how to face life. And if you don't know, you are at fault. Full stop. Are you getting my point? Yes. Why is the world like that? The world is like that. That's the way it is. No one is encouraging me. That's the way the world is. No one wrote a contract and said that when the day you were born, that the world shall hereby comply with every desire of mine and encourage me in all my stupidity. No one wrote such a... Are you with me? Yes or no? That's the way the world is. And why should not the world be the way it is? So education, I hope you all understand, is much more than mere training. Do you agree with me? And now nowadays, you have these universities boasting about it. We give job-oriented education. Is it true or not? Hare Baba, that's not called education, that's called training. Job-oriented training should be the word, not job-oriented education. I hope you're getting the point. And they boast, Amari college mathi 100% placement thai gayo. Lo. Is it true or not? This is the boasting that, what does it mean? That you are very efficient in training, but not. Are you all with me? I don't get a strong yes. Are you all asleep? These are stories which are very famous, and I'm sure all of you have heard them. 3 men wanted to cross a river, and there was no bridge. They saw a boat, and they were in a hurry, so they told the boatman, please take us across. The boatman said, okay, fine. And they were all very, very successful. One was a scientist, the other was a businessman, and the third was a politician. And they all sat in the boat, all suited, booted, coated, everything. And a boatman, simple, ordinary man, was ferrying them across. And what happened? Because they were getting bored, what to do? Long, it was quite a wide river, and people are like that. When you travel in planes and all, no one talks with anyone. But you go in a third-class compartment, everyone talks to everyone about everything. Isn't it true? Things that they would never tell their husband also, they'll go and talk to some stranger in the... Yes. So now these first-class passengers, these 3 will not talk with each other. Prestige issue, kaun pehle bolega? So now what to do? This boatman is a very ordinary, simple fellow. Okay, before one more mobile starts ringing, everyone please take out your mobile. I want to see the different brands available. Just please do that. Every one of you, please take out your mobile. Come on, you all have your mobile. Take it out. I won't ask for it. I want to see it just. And please switch it off, because we imagine it's switched off, many times. Please. Not everyone is taking out. You're so confident of yourself, and still one will ring, I'm sure. Please take it out. So now these 3 gentlemen didn't want to talk with each other, but still they were getting bored. So this ordinary man, he is very simple, so no prestige issue with him. So one of them, the scientist, said, science, do you know anything about science? Do you know anything about computers and software and viruses and Google and all? He said, what is this man talking? I don't even know what he's talking. This is the age of science. And he said that ordinary man is supposed to live. Our lifespan is supposed to be 100 years, and said 25 years of your life are wasted. He says, you are so successful, naturally, if you say it's wasted, wasted. Then the businessman, the politician said, do you know anything about politics? No, I don't know anything about politics. Says, you don't know anything about politics. Politics is in every branch of the, whether it's education or everything, politics is there. You don't know anything. I don't know anything. 25 years of your life are wasted. Kitla gaya? 50. And in that much time, the businessman says, what these politicians and scientists, we buy and sell them. Is it true or not? What they're talking? Kuch nahi. It's money that makes the world go round. And therefore, do you know anything about business? I don't know. Whatever you give me, I'll go to the bazaar, buy my vegetables, take it home, and my wife will eat. That's it. You don't know so much also, then 25 years of your life are wasted. How many wasted? 75. And this boatman said, what is this? They keep asking me questions. He turns around at all 3 of them, says, do you know how to swim? My turn of asking questions. Do you know how to swim? And they said, no, we don't. He said, why do we need? He's saying, it's because we're right out in the middle of the river, and the boat has developed a hole, and in a couple of minutes, we'll all be in the water, and I know how to swim. So that 25 years of my life you have left for me, right? 75 to gaya. I will go to the other shore and live them happily, and all 100 of years of your life will be in the water. All of us are in the river of life. And we know so many things about so many things, but we don't know how to face life. Isn't it true? You see nowadays depressions and anger, rage, whether it is road rage or all of a sudden one moment of anger, shoot a person. Is it true or not? What all is happening? What all is happening? Depression. Depression is a fashion. Oh yeah, I am depressed. Why? Yes. And then you go into a kitty party and everyone discusses their depression. How is your depression? Mine is getting better. How is yours? It's getting worse. What is this? Look, we don't know how to face anything. In my childhood, my mother used to tell me like that. Now I have become like that. All sorts of, and you blame this, that and the other for your weakness. Is it true or not? You must not scold the child when he is small, otherwise he will develop complexes when he grows big. Some crazy ideas, fanciful ideas about. I won't go into parenting because it becomes too big a thing. When I come in January, I'm going to give a special session called Happy Parenting. Y'all can come at that time. Oh, I have a lot to say about that. Now, so what is education? What is education? It's the knowledge by which you can face life. The classic example is the example of Arjuna, the most educated man of that time. Is it true or not? Studied in the best university of the time, Dronacharya University. Had the best of teachers, best of guides. Uncle was Prime Minister of the country. Very handsome. Everyone used to fall in love with him. Isn't it true? He was a very handsome guy. In every way. He had PhD in archery, right? You don't know? First class, first student of Dronacharya University, gold medalist. With all that, what happened to him? What happened? When this Mahabharata war happened, he says, I can't face it, I want to run away from life. Isn't it true? With all that, degrees and degrees and degrees, and when it comes to facing life, we don't know. So what is the knowledge that will help us to face life? Again, I come to this. Everyone wants to become successful, everyone wants money, everyone's name, fame, etc. Yes, very good, nothing wrong, but what is it that empowers you to be able to become successful? Now, this is important. That's what education is about. Now, first and foremost, we need to have what is called an integrated personality. What is integrated personality? Physical development, emotional development, intellectual development, and spiritual development. Do you agree with me? 4 layers of our personality. Many of us have a lopsided development of our personality. Have you seen that cartoon Popeye? Yes. His forearms are so muscular, and this is like thin sticks, isn't it? His thighs are very muscular, and below the knees, it looks very good as a cartoon, but if a person who walked up like that, you would all laugh at him. Is it true or not? Like that only, sometimes physically very well developed, but emotionally completely imbalanced. Do you agree with me? Sometimes emotionally pretty this, intellectually dull. Intellectually, absolutely, what do you call it? In fact, if you see the present day education really deals with very, very few of our intellectual abilities. Only short-term memory and a little bit of understanding and a little bit of logic is dealt with. The rest of the ways of learning and the kindling of all our intellectual faculties is not taken care of at all. For example, observation power, organizing power, creativity, sensitivity, appreciation of art, etc. These are all intellectual qualities of ours, which all of us have, which are not even dealt with, developed, touched in our education. Do you agree with me? Yes or no? And then what happens? I'll just give one example to make you realize. I told you. I'm talking from experience, but everyone's so confident. And the best part of it is, what happens is, most of the time when the mobile rings, they just switch it, they don't switch it off. They just somehow want the voice to go, so they just press. And after some time, the person said, "Ki kyun jawab nahi diya?" Again he'll ring, again it'll go off. You will see that happening. So please switch it off, sir. And sometimes, no, they would have given to the elder person who has this, કે તમે મોબાઈલ રાખજો, અમે જ્યારે પણ કોન્ટેક્ટ કરવો ને તો કરો. એટલે એમને સ્વિચ ઓફ કરતા ના આવડતું હોય, ખાલી આન્સર કરતા આવડતું હોય, પછી પ્રોબ્લેમ થઈ જાય પાછો. આ બધું અનુભવથી કહું છું, બાકી એમને નથી કહેતી. એટલે તમને ના આવડતું હોય તો ડોન્ટ વરી, બાજુવાળાને આપો, કહો કે ભાઈ બંધ કરો ને જર મારા માટે. સાચું કહું છું, in life, if you have an instrument, you should know how to use it and you should know how to switch it off. Unfortunately, we use instruments, we don't even know how to switch off. We have a mind which is one of the most powerful instruments, but we don't know how to switch it off. Is it true or not? And such a big problem in life. Such a big problem. When I want to switch it off, it goes on. વાગ્યા જ કરે. Disturb કરે છે બધાને, તમને પણ, તોય બંધ નથી થતું. Is it true or not? It's true. This is what education is all about. You know, when I was young, my father used to keep saying, you know, a simple thing. જે કંઈ પણ લો, પાછી એની એ જગ્યાએ મૂકી દો. Whatever you take, put it back in its place. So, and I used to think he's nagging me so much. Why is he bothered about it? જવા દો ને, જ્યાં હોય ત્યાં. He used to keep on nagging me about it. Then what happened? Around the age of 30, too many responsibilities started coming on me. And at that time, I realized I was spending so much of my time just searching for simple things. Where's my pen? Where's my this? Where's my this? This. I said, what is this? I'm never going to be able to cope with things if I'm going to be searching. And that time, the formula that my father gave me, I remembered. And I said, now I had to relearn at the age of 30. And it took a lot of time. I knew that if I don't do that, I won't be able to manage. And now what happens at the age of 50, you have become a CEO of a big company, and then you go to a 5-star hotel for a seminar by a world-famous guru on time management. And what does the management guru tell you? Whatever you take, put it back in its place. That's the time-saving way. And you pay through your nose for that. Is it true or not? So education is about what? All these skills that you and I have, to be able to develop them. It's not about knowing mathematics. It's learning how to think logically, reason. And it's so sad that this country of ours, which had an education which was so holistic, which would develop all this physical, emotional, intellectual and spiritual, this education which we had in our country, we forgot about it and we borrowed from the West. And now, you know, there's a subject called IB. There's a curriculum called IB. It's very popular nowadays. International Baccalaureate. And every second school wants to become an IB school. And you know, I know because I was a teacher of TOK. The subject is called Theory of Knowledge. I was myself a teacher, so I know the thing. And what do they teach? They teach, the subject is basically, and it's such an important subject which I think every school and every government and every institution should teach, and that is how you learn what you learn. You understand? We don't know how we learn what we learn. Okay, how do you know what you're seeing is right? How do you know? How can you prove that this is what you're seeing is right? On what basis do you say? Do you say it on basis of faith? Do you say, what is the role of faith in the knowledge that took place that this is a watch? Does faith have a role or it doesn't have a role? Now, these simple fundamental questions on how you are thinking and how you are learning and how you are, that is all what is taught. And this was there, I could do as a teacher. I haven't got any degrees in any other education, but I could become a teacher because I have studied Vedanta. Have you understood that? Very, very effectively. In fact, in October, I'm going to be called in Hanoi at the International Conference of the IB to talk on values and internationalism. Why? Because I have the background of the spiritual knowledge that I got. Have you got the point? I can talk on these subjects because, and we left all this knowledge and now we say, no, all these subjects should not come into education. Otherwise it is called saffronization of education. Have you understood that? What a crazy thing. Supposing we say Vedas must be taught. Saffronization of. But we will borrow it in the name of TOK. Is it true or not? We will learn it. Such a strange thing. So anyway, intellectual development is important, and of course spiritual development. Swami Vivekananda had this wonderful thing to say about education. He said, education is to manifest, the purpose of education is to manifest the divinity of man. This was his definition. Because right now what the world needs is not just human beings, but humane beings. Do you agree with me? The first and foremost thing, it needs humane beings. Human beings can only be called human when they are humane. Basic requirement. And what is happening now, you see all over the world. And that is why I'm talking about these 4 layers of our personality. The spiritual level is also very, very important. Unfortunately, that's not even touched in our present education. Do you agree with me? Yes or no? Values and all, no place. And what happens? What happens? You all know what happens. In fact, values which are harmful, negative emotions are encouraged in the school and the college system itself. Is it true or not? I hear horror stories of what goes on in medical colleges, in engineering colleges. Horror stories is the only word. I said, God, how can this happen in an education institution? Why? And in places like Bombay, parents are very, very kind, very effective in destroying the children. They hire people to do the homework of the children. Are you aware of that? It's available. You pay 1,000 rupees and all your home assignments are done by the... How kind the parents are. So very kind. So kind. What is happening? What are you teaching, Pathetic. This is something that is very dear to me, and I have talked before, maybe I've talked in this audience, I'm not too sure, but I don't mind repeating. I ask you this question, okay, by the way, how many of you are directly involved with any educational institution? Either as teachers, as principals, as management, as students. Please put up your hands. Yes, I wish there were a lot more in the audience. Now, I would like all of you to answer, all of you, not just those people who raise their hands, all of you to answer this question. What do you want your children to be? Do you want them to be good or you want them to be smart? I ask this question very often. What do you want your children to be? You want them to be good, students or children, whatever way you want to call them. You want them to be good or you want them to be smart? The answer is both. Most of you will say both, right? The answer is both. The strange part of the whole thing and the contradiction of the whole thing is you want your children to be good to you and smart with others. Whatever. You want them to be good to you. And if they act smart with you, what do you say? Mari sathe tari hoshyari nahi chalse. A friend sathe hoshyari lagao jaye. Don't you dare to be that. Don't we say that? I am not saying that smartness has no role. But if goodness rules, then smartness must become a tool in the hands of goodness. Please note. Smartness is required. I'm not saying it's not required. I'm against the fact that then good only will do. No. Goodness is required and smartness is also required. But smartness should be a tool in the hands of goodness. I hope this is very clear, something very important. And right now what's happening? It's the opposite. Is it true or not? Please think about it. It's the opposite, absolute opposite. Goodness has become a what? A tool in the hands of smartness. And that's when destruction happens. That's when all problems start. Classic example of Mahabharata. Vidura, which represented goodness, existed in the Kaurava side. Is it true or not? Who was in the position of power? Dhritarashtra. But he was guided by who? Duryodhana, who represents smartness. And who was guided by who in turn? Duryodhana? Shakuni, who was crookedness. So smartness is guided by crookedness, influencing the position of power. And what is the role of goodness? No role. Is it true or not? So whenever they wanted Vidura, they'd say, come here, come here. Tell us what is good. So he will say, this is good. He said, very good, get out. Have you understood? You use the goodness as and when you want, what they call, Sagvadyo Dharma. You use it when you want and you ask it to get out. Else not, you don't have a role, get out. Whereas on the other side, you see the Pandava side, Arjuna, smartness, extremely smart guy. But who was the ruler over there? Yudhishthira, who was nothing but goodness. Is it true or not? Yudhishthira said, do this, he would do it. Said, don't do it, don't do it. Even though he wanted to kill Duryodhana in the Sabha, Yudhishthira just looked at him, he sat down. Is it true or not? So Yudhishthira, goodness guided, and in turn, he was guided by who? Shri Krishna, greatness. And see what happened at the end of it. With all that army, with all the power, with everything going their way, still they lost. And these people won because goodness was on their side. Have you all understood that? Ultimately, what wins? I tell them many times, I tell people this many times, that people get attracted to each other, they fall in love because of smartness. Yes or no? Bolo. Majority of them who fall in love because of what? Smartness. And they also divorce because of? Bolo. Is it true or not? Think about it yourself. Because you cannot live with smartness. You can live only with goodness. Have you understood that? But unfortunately, our entire education system, the home environment, the society and its values only respects, applauds, recognizes, awards smartness and never goodness. Is it a fact or not? What happens to a society which does not award goodness, recognize goodness? Then the people who follow, they say, you're not going to get any recognition. Why should I follow goodness? So therefore, it should become education institutions at least, because that's the time when children are, what do you call them? Idealistic. So that's when goodness has a good scope to blossom and you can get rooted. So I always say the purpose of education is to lay the firm foundation of goodness. That is the purpose of education. If you have a firm foundation of goodness, then when you go out in the world, if you have the seed of greatness, greatness shall emerge. Have you all understood that? But if you don't have that firm foundation of goodness, the greatness that emerges outside afterwards may be harmful to themselves and to others. Do you agree with me? Yes or no? People become famous, people become rich, people become so-called very successful, but that so-called greatness doesn't last, doesn't bless, does not do good to anyone. Do you agree with me? Yes or no? Why? What was lacking? What was lacking? The firm foundation of goodness. So the purpose of education is to lay that firm foundation of goodness so that whenever in life your goodness is going to get tested. But this is so deeply rooted that it does not get washed away by small little floods of life. Have you understood that? But if you don't have a firm foundation, your superstructure is going to break with any problem. Why did a lot of these buildings crash? In Ahmedabad, during this. Why? Because no foundation nahi hatu to kharu atlo ubhu na, but it was not deep enough. Have you got this point? It's so important. And unfortunately, parents don't think about this. Education institutions, and they only is this marks sarawa jaye, marks sarawa jaye, marks sarawa jaye. Is it true or not? What is the emphasis of the parents? Marks sarawa jaye. Bas. Kai school sari 100% marks le aave ne, 100% so pass. Sara ma sari school. Have you understood this? This is the type of if the demand is of this type, then the supply will also be of this type. And therefore, the first thing, if you want good education, the demand must change. Have you all understood? Bolo. And demand, who will change the demand? Bolo. Then the supply will change. If you start demanding, we want quality education. We want education which will make our children good. We want education which will help our children to face life. If you start demanding that, the schools will have to do, because if they want to survive, they have to supply you with your demand. Have you all understood? But what do we say? Marks sara le aao jo. Is it true? I'm not saying marks should not be there. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm trying to say is that's not the be all and end all of everything. And remember this statement, think about it if you want to, the language of marks during school and college becomes the language of money when you grow big. Will you remember this statement? Think about it. The language of marks in school and college becomes the language of money when you grow old. Parents go and fight for 1 mark, 2 marks with the teachers. Is it true or not? Have you not seen that? It's very strange. I won't go into parents because it's a different issue altogether. I get very excited about that. So therefore, we need to demand for this. Now that's one aspect, which is that the integrated development. The second aspect in education, which is very, very important, and that is called a firm root and grounding in the Indian culture. Does an American child have to be taught American culture? Bolo. Yes or no? But does an Indian child have to be taught Indian culture? Yes. Why? Because he doesn't know anything about it. Is it a fact or not? What does he know? If you're asked what exactly is Indian culture, we really can't say. Simple, very, very obvious, simple things. Okay, let me put it this way. All of you have seen Hindi movies? In a Hindi movie, if the flame goes off, what is understood? Bolo na. What is understood? Okay, flame has gone off. What is understood? What do you understand? All of you have seen Hindi movies. Come on. What do you understand? Koi mari gayo. Is it true or not? Something inauspicious has happened. And now what do we do? On birthdays, happy birthday to you. Pooh, pooh, pooh. You know, in one hand, this is what it represents. In our culture, it represents inauspiciousness. And what do we do? Are you understanding this? What are you doing? And then you say, I want happy birthday. What happy? Kids, when they're very small, they don't even say birthday. Aaj mari happy che. No birthday, that's happy che, happy che. Happy nathi, inauspicious che, poo-poo karine. See, simple things. What I'm trying to say is this, our culture. We know. We should be the upholders of our culture. Who is going to do it? I remember I went to Muscat once. A house where I was staying, everyone used to keep coming, And the lady of the house, quite an elderly, well-known person in the society, everyone would come and do like that and go away. 2-3 days I said, what is this, everyone coming like that? Then I asked you, why do they do like that? Because Swami ji ne te પહેલા છે ને પગે લાગતા. તો પગે લાગે ને એટલે આપણે પીઠ પર છે ને આશીર્વાદ આપીએ. તો કે હવે કોઈ પગે તો લાગતું નથી પણ ખાલી આમ પીઠ બતાવીને ચાલ્યા જાય છે. The third very, very important aspect of education is patriotism, love for the country, which has to be. I'm talking about this investment in the child, all this. How often I go to schools and colleges, I don't know, hundreds and thousands of schools and colleges, when I address them, I go and ask them this question. All the time, teachers, principals and everyone keep saying, you are the future of the country, you are the future of the country. I go and ask the question, you are the future of which country? I am addressing the future of which country? Is it true or not? Every person who lives in India, young student, where do they want to go? Bolo bhai. First choice? Second choice? Third choice? અને જેને કાંઈ કશે મળે નહીં તો આપણી છે ને ગુજરાત યુનિવર્સિટી તો છે. What is this? What is this? I'm not saying you should not go abroad and study. I'm not against it. What I'm trying to say is, what is their commitment or feelings towards this motherland of ours, which has given us everything, which is equal to anyone in the world. And now we are so proud. America ma, Infosys ma, atla loko Indian che, atla NASA ma, so many percent Indian. Wow. Are you with me? Why? We have everything to be proud of. Everything in the world. And yet, our children don't go out with their head high. Because they have no grounding. No one. This is what education should be doing. And of course, one very, very important aspect, the fourth aspect, is called the universal outlook. In this day and age, you and I, living in this whole universe and this earth, cannot afford not to be aware of all international issues, all universal issues, not only be aware, but care and dare. Let me explain this to you. Churchgate station, thousands and thousands of people, Bombay, commuters. Supposing at the time of, now Bombay has shown that it's a very different type of a city. But if you go to some other place, thousands of people, one person lying over there, not very, feeling well, and no one even look at them. Isn't it true? No one's, people are unaware, and if you're unaware, where's the question of caring? Do you agree with me? Some people who are aware, Hare bicharo, amthe, bicharane, amtho, bichara bhaine, amtho, they will this, and then they go back. Then they go and tell the wife, look at the state of Bombay, no one even really cares and all that. And the wife says, why didn't you do something? He says, nahi, pachi train chali jai to pachi 1 kalak pachi biji aave. So we are aware, but we don't care. And the third thing is, there are some people who are aware, and then they care. And when they care, they dare. Do you agree with me? They do something. Most of us are aware of a lot of things, but we don't care, right? But if you care, supposing your child has fallen, will you say, I am aware of his problem and I care so much, but what can I do? Will you say that? If you care, you will do something. You will scream for help, even if you can't do something. Is it true or not? So therefore, we need to teach our children not just to become aware, first make them aware, then make them care, and then make them dare to do things. All universal issues. Think of it, 15, 20, 30 years back, every one of you had a cloth bag at home by which you bought vegetables. Is it true or not? Ghare shakbhaji ni theli hati ke nahi? So what did you do? You took it, you bought your vegetables, came home, washed it, and then it was ready for the next time. Now what happens? Bolo. Isn't it? And the best is, at that time we were not so much aware of the harm of plastic. Now we are more aware and careless. Is it true or not? Think of it. We talk a lot. We all are aware of the plastic menace, and yet what happens? Each in your house will have what? A big pile of plastic. But next time when you go out, you won't take that plastic bag and you will say, "Ek apone mafat ma mole na apito." Why? Why can't we keep a few plastic bags in our car or whatever, and then when you need to, then biji nahi aapta mere paas che. But we won't. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So we need to have a commitment right from childhood. Awareness. And then the person becomes so strong in that, he will live it all his life. You know what are, what do you call it, wildlife sanctuaries? What are wildlife sanctuaries? Places where wild animals are protected. From whom? From whom? From you and me, the so-called civilized people. Is it true or not? And they are called wild. And we are what? The only person, only species that does not live in harmony with creation is a human being. Do you agree with me? Don't you think it's time something we did about education? Now, one question. Who causes the maximum harm in the country or national level, this time of society in this? The educated person or the uneducated person? National problems, world problems, etc., etc. Who causes them? The uneducated or the educated? Bolo bhai. The uneducated person only maybe harms what? Himself and his family. But the educated person can destroy the whole world. Do you agree with me? Yes or no? The masterminds behind a lot of these acts, terrorist acts, were pretty educated people. Do you agree? Something is wrong in that education that makes man live like that. Be cruel towards his own species. So therefore, I think it is time that all of us become responsible, because everyone says, teacher onu kam che, anu kam che, tenu kam che. No, it is time all of us become responsible. Take it on ourselves to do something. Because when many times people say, Swamiji, politicians are so bad, so and so is so bad, system is so bad, I always say what really went wrong, whether it is in our country or anywhere in the world, is not just the political system. I'm not saying that they are blameless, but I would say it is the home environment and the education system. You remember? Because these politicians are who? They have not been sent from outer space to come into the world. They are your and my brothers and sisters. Is it true or not? They are not come from outer space. So what went wrong? The education system and the home environment. Are you all with me? Yes? Something has to be done. Home environments have to change. Education systems have to change. If that is done, if we can do that, what will happen? If we can give holistic education, I'm sure our children will be able to stand all the tests of life and fare beautifully, come out with flying colors. My time is up, and I am sure those of you who are directly connected to education or indirectly who are management and, in different ways, who can influence, this, will do their bit also. Don't leave it to what? Others. You become proactive if you care to do something about whatever has been spoken of today. Thank you all very much. Hari Om and Namaskar.
We are really touched, Swamini Vimalananda ji. It was excellent, excellent, excellent. It was quite general, but quite specific. I think we should know what our children are doing and what we are doing. I know my daughter is in one of the best schools in Ahmedabad. She tells me sometimes, English she learns, the grammatical mistakes, what the teacher makes, even in maths, what the teachers makes. I feel very sad sometimes. I talk to principal. He says that we are unable to get good faculties. So sometimes I feel, to quote this shairi, एक ऊप सी दिल में उठती है, एक ऊप सी दिल में उठती है, एक दर्द जिगर में होता है, एक ऊप सी दिल में उठती है, एक दर्द जिगर में होता है, मैं रात को उठकर रोता हूँ जब सारा आलम सोता है. We really feel sad about the education systems prevailing in our country. It's marks-oriented, what she said very correctly. And particularly when in the 10th and 12th, when the daughters or sons are there, the mother feels, you see the features change in them, they feel sad, or they really change, The most beautiful lady becomes, sad or very serious, when the children are in 10th or 12th. The children are all right. They feel happy. They are very, very all right. But the mothers are very bad those days. I don't know why this tension prevails on the parents. The real education is to learn things correctly, the good things, what she said, to make children smart. We at AMA are constantly trying to train faculties how to teach children very well in school, colleges, and we have about 3 training programs for the teachers of schools, for colleges, and a regular training program. Even for the children also, we have a leadership program to make them smart, to make them better politicians of tomorrow, a good quality politicians tomorrow. That's required, With this, I thank you very much, and thank you very much to you. And I would like to give a memento on behalf of AMA and from Ramanbhai Patel's Education Trust.